Over 150 million souls have been extinguished in the wars that stain human history, and behind many of these tragedies stand individuals who orchestrated bloodshed with chilling purpose. These were not just leaders. They were executioners of ideology, ambition, and ego. Today, we expose the 5 deadliest warmongers in history, ranked by the staggering death tolls left in their wake. Number 5, Genghis Khan, 40 million deaths. In the 13th century, a tribal boy named Temujin rose from exile to become Genghis Khan, one of the most feared conquerors in history. His armies swept across Eurasia like a living storm, obliterating entire civilizations. Cities that defied him, like Merv, Nishapur, and Herat, were razed to dust. At Nishapur, following the death of his son-in-law, he ordered the execution of every resident. Estimates range from 100,000 to 200,000. No mercy, no survivors. Genghis Khan waged psychological warfare as much as physical. He would spare cities that surrendered, but resistance meant annihilation. His invasions may have reduced the global population by 10%. Yet he wasn't mindless. He created a structured empire, enforced religious tolerance, and developed trade routes. To his people, he was a lawgiver. To his enemies, he was death incarnate. He died in 1227, reportedly from injuries sustained after falling from his horse. His burial kept secret, his tomb guarded by loyal soldiers who were themselves killed to maintain silence. Number 4, Hideki Tojo, 50 million deaths. Hideki Tojo was the militaristic architect behind Japan's brutal expansion in World War II. As prime minister, he sanctioned the invasions of China, Manchuria, and the Pacific Islands. But conquest wasn't enough. His regime unleashed horrors. In Nanking, Japanese soldiers slaughtered over 300,000 civilians and committed mass rape with mechanized cruelty. Prisoners of war were tortured, civilians subjected to biological experiments in Unit 731, where diseases were weaponized and vivisections performed without anesthesia. Tojo viewed surrender as a stain on honor, pushing soldiers to die in kamikaze attacks and civilians to commit suicide rather than face capture. He ruled with fanatical devotion to the emperor and Japan's divine right to rule Asia. When defeat came, he tried to take his own life, but failed. He was arrested, tried for war crimes, and hanged in 1948. To his last breath, he showed no remorse, only rigid loyalty to a vision built on genocide and agony. Number 3, Adolf Hitler, 60 to 70 million deaths. Adolf Hitler turned a broken Germany into a furnace of hatred. His rise was democratic. His rule was demonic. In 1939, he invaded Poland, igniting a war that would engulf the world. On the battlefield, over 60 million perished. But the greater horror unfolded in the ghettos, the camps, and the gas chambers. 6 million Jews were systematically exterminated in the Holocaust, alongside Romani, disabled individuals, political dissidents, and more. Hitler's charisma masked deep-rooted insecurities and delusions. He believed in racial purity and German supremacy, justifying atrocities with pseudoscience and propaganda. As his empire crumbled, he sent child soldiers to their deaths and ordered scorched earth policies against his own people. In April 1945, cornered in a Berlin bunker, he married Eva Braun, then shot himself. His body was burned, his legacy reduced to ash and rubble. But the scars of his reign remain carved into the soul of the 20th century. Number 2, Joseph Stalin, 20 to 60 million deaths. Joseph Stalin rose from revolutionary to iron tyrant, transforming the Soviet Union into a global force, but at a monstrous cost. His regime's death toll is contested, but conservative estimates place it between 20 to 60 million. The Holodomor famine he engineered in Ukraine claimed millions. People starved as grain was seized and borders sealed. In the 1930s, Stalin unleashed the Great Purge, a nationwide witch hunt that sent artists, scientists, officers, and civilians to firing squads or freezing gulags. He ruled through fear and paranoia, rewriting history books and executing old allies. Families turned on each other. Loyalty meant nothing. During World War II, he sent waves of soldiers into battle with little training or arms, believing quantity would crush quality. Survivors who returned home were often imprisoned as traitors. Stalin died in 1953 from a stroke, but for hours his guards dared not enter his room, too afraid of interrupting the dictator. He died as he ruled, alone, feared, and wrapped in the silence of terror. Number 1. Mao Zedong, 60 to 80 million deaths. At the pinnacle of devastation stands Mao Zedong. Heralded as a revolutionary hero, he became the architect of China's greatest tragedies. During the Great Leap Forward, 1958 to 1962, his push to collectivize farming and industry led to one of the worst famines in recorded history. Crops rotted in communal fields. Villages collapsed into starvation. Cannibalism was reported. Between 30 to 45 million died, many from policies Mao refused to abandon. Then came the Cultural Revolution, a decade-long purge of counter-revolutionaries. Red Guards, zealous student mobs, tore through the country, burning books, desecrating temples, torturing teachers, and driving countless to suicide. Mao's cult of personality grew as his country bled. To him, suffering was a price worth paying for ideological purity. He died in 1976, wealthy, powerful, and revered by many, despite leaving behind a legacy of oppression, famine, and fear. His portrait still looms over Tiananmen Square, a silent reminder of ideology gone feral. One moment, one speech, one decision, that's often all it takes. When we talk about warmongers, we're not just talking about military might. We're talking about how fear, ideology, and ambition can be weaponized. These 5 men weren't just leaders. They were forces of destruction. They manipulated millions, remade nations, and left behind legacies of death. And in every case, it started with power and a vision they forced onto the world, no matter the cost. Who do you think was history's deadliest warmonger? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and explore our other deep dives into history's most ruthless figures. Stay informed and stay vigilant.